Speedway Report is a production of ZTV. NASCAR trucks put on one disaster of a show in Knoxville, Iowa. Atlanta's repaving and redesign come under criticism. SRX continues to entertain. Welcome to Speedway Report. We are Monday. Where are we? July the 12th, 2021, live here Monday afternoon from the shores of Lake Norman in Race City, USA, Mooresville, North Carolina. I'm Patrick Reynolds, and thank you for joining the fastest half hour in racing. Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? Please give us a look, Speedway Report with Patrick Reynolds. Just give us, I guess you just search for us there. And you can subscribe to us, never miss a podcast, as each week we run down what happened over the weekend and share thoughts and the action in the world of auto racing. Victory Lane Lap. Let's take a trip around it from Speedway Report. Atlanta hosted the Midsummer Heat in the deadly afternoon. Not deadly, I exaggerate a little bit, but instead of a nice Saturday night race or those frigid wintertime racing, they host that brutal July afternoon in Georgia. The Cup cars went 500 miles yesterday. Kurt Busch was your winner. NASCAR's Xfinity Series raced in Atlanta on Saturday afternoon, where his younger brother Kyle Busch took his 102nd career win. The Truck Series raced in Knoxville, Iowa on Friday night, and Austin Hill was your winner. We're going to talk about that race in a little bit. ARCA was up in Elko, Minnesota. A good short track, a good stop. Corey Heim was the winner there. Used a little bump and run to push Ty Gibbs out of the way on a late race restart. However, Heim said it was pretty much just payback from the way Ty raced him earlier in the race. I'm not a fan of bump and run or using cars as tools to move other drivers out of the way. You pass each other. However, I am in favor of payback. Always have been. Lucas Oil late models had a rough weekend with Mother Nature. They're scheduled to run Thursday in Gaffney, South Carolina, and a doubleheader Friday and Saturday in Maryville, Tennessee. Everything was rained out. Now, the race down the road from me in Gaffney, South Carolina was called early because of the forecast of the tropical storm that was moving up the East Coast. I work in the live music and concert business, and we dodged a lot of rain over the weekend. Forecast was there. We toughed it out, and we got shows in Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's not always my money that I'm gambling with, but there are plenty of times this year where we looked at the forecast and thought we were in trouble in the music biz. We stuck to our guns, and what really happened, how it played out, we've been able to get just about every concert in so far this year, knock on wood. Back to dirt racing. World of Outlaw late models held a doubleheader in Jackson, Minnesota on Friday night. Frank Hackney's Jr. was your winner. They raced Saturday night, and Dennis Erb Jr. took the A-main on Saturday. World of Outlaw sprints were up in Wilmot, Wisconsin. Brad Sweet was your A-main winner. And as we record this on Monday, World of Outlaw sprints are in for a busy week with races Tuesday through Saturday, some big money each time. We're going to end the weekend with Eldora's Kings Royal, both the 2020 and 2021 versions. So they've got a very busy week, but a whole lot of money up for grabs. USAC sprints were scheduled to be in Knoxville, Iowa on Saturday night. They were rained out, and the midgets were rained out in Sweet Spring, Missouri for Sunday. They were supposed to go there. Grandview, Pennsylvania's firecracker race with fireworks and Stadium in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and Marco Andretti won at Slinger Speedway in Wisconsin for that stop on the SRX Tour. Their season finale, so to speak, only a 6-race series, comes to a close this coming Saturday at the fairgrounds in Nashville, Tennessee. Now let's talk about the racing that we saw. The SRX series has been entertaining to me. There's been a little bit of television modification there to keep it exciting and keep it fun. but it comes across that way as this is just how we are. It's a specially made series as opposed to a sanctioned body championship, late model tour, sprint tour, major event on pavement, what have you. It's pretty much TV package for summertime Saturday nights for CBS. There's better than 1 million people tuning in each Saturday night, and it is being entertained. How entertaining are we? Well, anytime you pretty much have Paul Tracy involved, you're going to be entertaining. Whether he's behind the wheel or behind the microphone, Paul Tracy, a polarizing figure. Love him or hate him, but he certainly had a whole lot to say about Hailie Deegan as he went around courtesy of her right front fender. So many people were saying Tracy came down on her. Tracy, famous for his frame-by-frame video proof of racing incidents, a la the 2002 Indianapolis 500, shows how Hailie Deegan was against the yellow line and rode up off of it to turn him around. There was a whole lot of this. It is Slinger Speedway. It is late model style racing, full fendered. I know this is simply going to happen. You do look at the replay, and I'm a guy where the nose of the car that breaks the rear bumpers plane on the car in front of them does not mean you have the positions. I'm old school. You got to have that nose up to the driver's compartment. And man, was Deegan close on Tracy when the nose of her car going up alongside the door on his car. This whole thing is a neat concept, and the series and the entertainment value of it, I really like it. I'm not going to take a position on the Paul Tracy, Hailie Deegan spin. I don't know. It looked like it could have gone either way. I could blame Tracy. I could blame Deegan. If it was bumper to bumper and the old bump and run, you know where I stand on that. It's a candy-ass move. Not so much. Side by side, which they were, I don't know. I'm not even going to take a position. However, the social media for Paul Tracy is gold on Twitter and Instagram. Love this guy. Man, you put him in a race or involved in a broadcast, and there's going to be some very, very good action. Love it when he is involved. Gotta dig some Paul Tracy. Marco wound up in victory lane, stood atop the podium on a quarter-mile high-bank track with a stock car, no doubt. Rumors are circulating that Marco may be making a jump to NASCAR, or at least giving it a shot with NASCAR's Xfinity Series. He has shown tremendous potential that I don't think was ever materialized in the IndyCar Series. He has shown very solid work here in the SRX Series, adapting to the stock car style of racing. He's done well in sports car racing. So he's not a full-time IndyCar driver, pretty much just running the Indianapolis 500 this year. He's gotten out of that, but it gave him the opportunity to spread his wings and try different things. Among them, the IMSA starts as well as the SRX. This has put him in good connections and networking with other people with full fendered experience and contacts. I would be very surprised if we don't see Marco in an Xfinity style car in NASCAR sometime as we go through the rest of 2020. That would be cool. I talked about it years ago. I wrote a story about it. Love to see Marco try his hand at fendered racing. I don't want to lose him out of the IndyCar and open wheel world, but I certainly would love to see him in NASCAR. I'd love to see what would happen in there. Speaking of NASCAR, don't we always speak of NASCAR? And gosh, there's so much always to talk about. What made a lot of headlines this week is NASCAR's plan of repaving and reconfiguring Atlanta. Now, some great racing surfaces out there are really, really worn down. Periodically we talk about it on this show of Darlington, Rockingham, Pensacola, even North Wilkesboro, if it gets opened back up. They're tire eaters, and it makes for great, great racing. Not so much for the guys paying the tire bill on the cars or the teams, but man, from the grandstands, this puts on really good racing and really interjects the driver element into it. A piece of the track came up yesterday in Atlanta, so it certainly does. You can't race on a surface like that where it's coming apart on you, and I think it was this was redesigned mid to late 90s, 97, I think it was, between the spring and the fall race, I think, if memory serves. So depends on what you used what kind of asphalt you used down in Georgia there. You're talking a 24-year-old paving job. I don't know. They don't have the harsh winters down there for sure, but it does have the heat, which also beats up on pavement as well and makes it soft. Then it gets cooler, and decades of that could certainly wear it out. The chunk of the track did come up, much like reminiscent of the 2010 Daytona 500, won by Jamie McMurray, where we had pothole gate and we had to repair the track, and the race finished late at night. Now you're looking at actually good racing, and then 2011 came along, and that was the start of the tandem racing, the 2x2 pack racing. Trevor Bayne won that Daytona 500 in 2011 with the pack racing. Now we're looking at Atlanta with a redesign and narrowing of the track, increase of the banking. So they are thinking they could try to design a Talladega-style racing at Atlanta. Now, it is, as Kyle Busch pointed out, he didn't get it at all. He didn't understand this, how we're narrowing the track width literally, yet we spray the PJ1 in the upper grooves of so many tracks to widen the track. We've done a lot of work over the years of high horsepower, low downforce, lower horsepower, high downforce packages. And when they reduce the grip on the cars, they spray the PJ1 again in the upper grooves of the turns. So we have more grip on the cars. It seems like whatever we build or take in and out of the cars, we're adapting the track to counteract what we just spent all the money and time and effort in the cars for. What do you want to do with this thing? Now, clearly with the pavement chunks coming up, it does need a repave. It does every so often. I love worn out pavement, but eventually, yeah, the pavement becomes a problem and you do have to repave it. What a lot of people are complaining about is the redesign of the track, which a lot of folks are not happy about. Kyle Busch is not happy about it. Denny Hamlin is certainly outspoken about it. What they're calling the bluff on is NASCAR and SMI's con job of saying we consulted the drivers and this is what they want. Jeff Gluck put on Twitter that of the 20 drivers in the points that came through the media center over the weekend, he asked them were they consulted on this redesign. 19 of them said no. The lone driver that was consulted on it, none other than Kurt Busch, who won the race at Atlanta. So I'm in favor of a repave. I'm even in favor of a redesign, but let's go back to the oval previous to 1997. I never was a fan of the new Atlanta. It was the cookie cutter quad oval style that we've seen in Texas. We got it in Charlotte. It reminiscent of the D shapes with other tracks like Michigan and California. We got it. We've seen it. We've been there. We got the t-shirt. Let's go back to Atlanta, which was one of the few true ovals on the track. And it was a super speedway at that, at 1.5 miles. Let's go back to a literal oval. That was a great track where you had about a 1/4 mile straightaway on each side of the track, which totaled 1/2 mile. But then on each end of the track, you had 1/2 mile of turn on each end, and that added up to 1 mile where you had the wheel turned. You had to back off. You had to put wheel into it. It was a driver's racetrack. It brought the driver out of the car to overcome some engineering and actually put his talent into it. Any track that does that, I'm in favor of. Let's do that. But there's a lot of guys not happy about Atlanta, and we're going to get to more of that in a little bit with the design of the new design coming of Atlanta, possibly in 2022. Now, some conversation that I can't stand, but as part of racing, is the regular season and the playoffs. I don't follow this at all. It makes me ignore NASCAR. It makes me turn the channel. It makes me just drive me away from the sport. Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick are two that have not won a race this year, and by mid-July, that's kind of surprising. But they are currently on the outside of the win column going in. As was clarified to me, the regular season champion, which I can't believe I say or care about this, that there's a regular season champion, he will get into the playoffs, and the lowest race winner with the fewest amount of points gets booted out for a 16-driver field of NASCAR playoffs. Gosh, NASCAR playoffs has got to be like the stupidest term I've ever heard in my life, NASCAR playoffs. Oh, my God. Way to ruin a sport that I once loved. I want to go to NASCAR and still talk about it, but let's talk about the Truck Series as they raced in Knoxville, Iowa. At the dirt race on Friday night. What was wrong with Eldora? I'll tell you what was wrong with Eldora. Tony Stewart starting the SRX series with Ray Evernham. I think there was a lot of politics and books and money, and not the fact that Eldora wasn't a great racetrack, put on good racing, and welcome the Truck Series, but it just kind of stinks that it went to Knoxville, Iowa. The sprint car capital of the world, a track very good on its own. But why are we there, and why are we not at Iowa Speedway? Paved 7/8 mile. Seems like it makes perfect sense to be there with the trucks instead of Knoxville, Iowa. The last 2 laps of this crash fest took close to an hour to complete. It looked like, a 1980s SK race at Stafford Motor Speedway. Just painful to watch. What I want to talk about, there's some great quotes that came out of the truck race at Iowa. Sheldon Creed believes the truck series should be at Iowa Speedway. And his quote was, he says, drivers race with no respect tonight. And that quote, I guess Iowa with its multiple lanes isn't any good, which is why they're going to screw up Atlanta. You've already got multiple lanes at Atlanta. Let's keep them. You can still repave it and keep them. We've got multiple lanes at Iowa, which isn't any good because we're crashing left and right. Here's another great quote from Kyle Strickler, and I think it was my favorite quote of the weekend. Quote, the total lack of respect for other drivers and other drivers' equipment last night absolutely blew my mind. I think all the spoiled rich-ass punk kids should be in the shop first thing on Monday morning so they can fix all of this shit they tore up. Maybe then they'll think twice about blasting people out of the way when they realize how much it takes to make it to the racetrack every weekend. Kyle Strickler, much respect for you. This has been a complaint about the sport for years of rich kids come in, they can or cannot drive, but that's all they do. They beat and bang on equipment and don't care because their guys are going to build new stuff and fix it anyway. They don't have to get up on Monday morning and get in the shop and take care, unload the truck, get it in the shop, clean it, strip it, repair it, fix it. They don't do it. So all the spoiled ass rich punk kids. Kyle Strickler, much respect, brother. I'll give you a high five for that one next time I see you. He's around Mooresville too. That is about the quote of the weekend for everything that I've seen on Twitter, on social media, and about that. And speaking of Knoxville, here's more mismanagement of NASCAR in general, as NASCAR's social media talked about the dirt in Knoxville, Tennessee. This is what you have when you have 18-year-old interns or college kids running NASCAR's social media accounts. They don't know their ass from the hole in the ground, and just much like the repave at Atlanta, the design of the next-gen car for the Cup Series, idiots are running NASCAR. They have for so many years. They've run this whole series, whole sport into the ground, and it is a damn shame to do it. When you've got idiots that are running social media for NASCAR, they don't know the difference of Knoxville, Iowa, and Knoxville, Tennessee. You don't have the qualifications to even work for the sanctioning body if you don't know where Knoxville Raceway is. You've got a nice degree in marketing and PR. You don't belong working for NASCAR. We've got these wonderful decisions. The ARCA Series race, now owned by NASCAR. We had a nice 250-lapper in Elko, Minnesota, but we had breaks at lap 100 or lap 175. 2 breaks within the 250, 2 design cautions. That would have prevented me from buying a ticket. It would have saved me money. The object is to save the car owners money so they don't have to spend it on hired gun pit crews. I wouldn't buy a ticket to that race. More suits running NASCAR. 2 breaks to save the car owners money. You know what costs even less money to save the car owners money? Don't race. Get a set of golf clubs and go out on the green. That would be a great way to spend your weekends as opposed to the racetrack. Racing costs money, and I want to see live pit stops. If you had a break in the show, I'm not going to go. It sucks. Real racing, we're going to have live pit stops and real racing with the Redbud 400 tonight at Anderson, Indiana. As Dick Trickle said, we're flying jet fighters within a gymnasium. Big stock cars for 400 laps at Anderson, Indiana. And with all the talk about stock car racing, I was able to focus on it. However, IndyCar, Formula One, IMSA, and the NHRA, where were you this weekend? seemed like a good opportunity where one of you could have popped up. Some of you needed a break, but one of you could have popped up and I think made a little splash in the auto racing landscape here in the US of A, and maybe gotten your sponsors and your series a little bit more attention. Instead of all running, and we've got 8 major series going in the US at once, and shows like mine are trying to follow them. This one, geez, we lost 4 good series that could have been out there. Our racer of the week, not a guy that sat in victory lane, not a guy that won, not a guy that hoisted a trophy, not a guy that passed away in memory, but I'm going to give my racer of the week to Kyle Strickler for his great quote. I love when he calls out the spoiled-ass rich punk kids. Kyle Strickler, my kind of guy, my kind of racer, because I know on Monday he's in the shop working on his stuff, getting it ready for the next weekend. You keep up on the world of motorsports with SpeedwayReport.com. You can have an army of my downloaded shows ready to go if you want to check out Speedway Report and see what's going on in the world of racing and what happened in the commentary for that particular weekend. I've got all these archived right there. Also available on Facebook on the Racers Reunion page and the Speedway Report with Patrick Reynolds page. On Twitter, I'm at Speedway Report and at Speedway Pat. And you can always go to racersreunion.com and the Speedway Report YouTube page. Big thanks to everyone on Facebook that caught us today. I want to thank the military, past and present, for the freedoms we enjoy as Americans in our daily life, including the simple things like bench racing right here on Mondays. Freedom isn't free, and a veteran paid that bill for us. To all the men and women who are defending freedom and watching Speedway Report, take care of yourselves and come home soon. Special salute to the teachers, school staff, firefighters, police officers, and paramedics in our own communities. They are quiet and modest heroes every single day. God bless and thank you. You've been watching Speedway Report from the shores of Lake Norman in Race City, USA, Mooresville, North Carolina. Please like our Facebook page, Speedway Report with Patrick Reynolds, and follow me on Twitter at SpeedwayPat. Every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Drag Racing List is on. Please join Bill Pratt and John Bockelman on the Drag Racing List page on Facebook. I'll be back live here on FB with this new format, likely next Monday, more in a podcast version as opposed to a dedicated special live time. You can always download our shows once they are released on the Speedway Report website, Speedway Report's social media, as well as YouTube. But thanks for watching. You take care of yourselves, take care of each other. I'll see y'all next time.